Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Figma Skyward Sword Link figure. This is a Zelda character if you're not familiar. And this is probably the only decent figure we have of Link so far, so it's kind of a special figure. Hopefully they make more. I would love an Ocarina of Time Link personally. But this one's pretty good, and so I do recommend. I'm going to tell you right off the bat. I'm re-reviewing it because someone asked me to. I reviewed it quite a long time ago actually, so I thought maybe I have more insight now, and we'll see what I come up with as we look at the figure. If you're curious about the packaging, this is what it looks like. It says right here it's product number 153. Interesting thing though, I don't have this one open. I think it says 135 on the top of the package. It might say it on the inside somewhere. I don't remember. It might be listed as product 135. Just be aware of that. It says 153 on the outside though, so that's probably the official number. I think it's on the inside flap, which I don't have open on this one. But either way, 153, that's what it looks like if you're trying to track this down. Shouldn't be too hard because they seem to be reissuing this guy like once a week. But really cool figure. Not perfect, but pretty darn good. He stands about 5 1/4 to 5 1/2 inches tall, roughly 14 centimeters, and he comes with a good spread of accessories. First thing we'll show you is the face. He comes with a yelling face and a plain face, which has an incredible amount of detail in it. Really well done. Great look for Link. He has the swooshy hair, and he has the straight hair, so that'll be like for an action pose or just because it looks cool with him yelling. Windswept hair. Then he has a whole bunch of accessory hands, or alternate hands. We have the 2 open palm hands, a kind of relaxed open palm hand, another one for the other side. He's got an angular gripping hand for either side. He has a straight gripping hand for either side, and then he has a fist hand for either side. So bunches of hands. Paintwork could be a little bit better on the hands, but probably good enough. He of course does come with the Figma display stage, which is pretty much normal for all of the Figmas, and the little baggie. He comes with the shield, which looks really good. Very well done. Looks awesome. The strap and handle both come off, and they can be rotated around so you can hang it on his back over his sword, and you can put it in either hand. These do break easily, so be careful with that. And it doesn't hold them all that well, but just be really careful and you should be okay. Of course, we have the sword, which breaks very easily in the handle. That piece is meant to come off. Some of them got glued though, so be super careful when you remove that to put the hand on there. But really well detailed. You can see the striping on the handle, and then the accent pieces there. And then the blade itself is two-tone, so that's pretty cool. We get a swoosh effect for the sword. It's probably too heavy for Link because his hands swivel really easily. But once you get it figured out, you can get him in some pretty cool poses. Nice piece there. And we, of course, have the scabbard for the sword, which pegs into his back. And again, very nicely detailed with the silver rivets and the strap there. And just overall, really cool piece. They put a lot of effort into this guy. Same can be said for the figure itself. As far as the articulation goes, some of the pieces are a little bit limited, but I do like the sculpt. The proportions could be slightly better, but it's definitely, for any overly critical person, you wouldn't have a problem with the proportions. My buddy really doesn't like them. I don't have a problem with them, but they could definitely be better. I will admit that. It's still really good figure though for the average collector, and even somebody like me or my buddy. It's still really good. Alright, so articulation wise, the hat, you can rotate it. Not the best looking design since it's not round there, but it's still usable. So the hat rotates around. It comes off really easily, but it does just rotate and pop back on. For the neck, standard Figma joint for the neck. So we get the peg that goes into the head, the hinge, and then the peg that goes into the neck. The neck is on a ball peg. You don't get much out of it, so it's mostly just this joint up there. But you can move his head around pretty good amount. Of course, the collar for the shirt gets in the way a little bit, and his hair does too. But you should probably be able to get him in any pose you really need to. No big deal there. For the shoulders, we have a ball peg that goes into the torso, and then we have the hinge that the shoulder actually moves around on, and then we have a peg that goes down into the bicep that gives us our swivel. It is fairly limited though, due to the sculpt of the tunic. It doesn't have the greatest range of motion, so that's one of the drawbacks. We do get a single jointed elbow, not much better than 90 degrees, another drawback. The wrists swivel and have the hinge built into them. Some of the wrists swivel too easily, so posing him with the sword is problematic. Another drawback, but it's not a horrible deal. For the upper torso, we get a double ball peg, which actually has pretty good range of motion. It could be better, but it's definitely not bad, so I'm okay with that. The tunic is split and it's soft, but it does limit the hips quite a bit. It's a three-way ball peg for the hips though, a single ball peg going up into the lower torso and then one ball peg for each hip itself. The socket moves around the ball peg and then the thigh can move around that socket. It's going to be pretty tricky to get him in poses though because the skirt is relatively stiff. Single jointed knee, it looks pretty good, but I think they definitely should have put some of the clothing on the top of the boot also. But it does work fairly well and it's not too bad. Standard ankle hinge right there for Figma. Definitely could have better range of motion, but again, it's not too bad. And we do get our ankle rocker out of it. And we have a toe hinge. So the articulation's not the best that they've ever done, but it's definitely good enough. And it's not a perfect link figure, but again, it's definitely good enough. Stick around here at the end so you can see him posed in action, so you can see what he actually looks like. I do recommend it 100%. They should be, even if they're not right now, should be in stock at Big Bad Toy Store again fairly soon because they just keep reissuing this guy. So click the link in the description, check it out, get one if you haven't already. Definitely recommend it for Zelda fans, definitely recommend it for collectible fans, definitely recommend it for just about anybody. It's an awesome, awesome figure. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you click that thumbs up button if you like this video, and make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can see my upcoming figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.